Welcome everyone, I'm Dale and this is Cinema Historia. Recent newlyweds, a rustic chicken farm, and lazy neighbors with 15 kids. This week we're going back to 1947 for a slapstick screwball comedy called The Egg and I, starring Claudette Colbert, Fred MacMurray, Marjorie Main, Percy Kilbride, and Louise Albritton. And this is directed by and screenplay by Chester Erskine. So where does our story begin this week? Well, our story begins with City Slickers Betty and Bob McDonald, played by Claudette Colbert and Fred MacMurray. Just after she says, "I do," Betty learns on their wedding night that her new husband has left his white-collar job with plans of breaking new roads into the wilderness to raise chickens. Much to Betty's surprise, Bob explains he just purchased a ramshackle house and a rustic farm located miles away from civilization. Upset but supportive, Betty follows her husband Bob in their jalopy filled with livestock to the countryside. Upon arrival, an eager Bob doesn't see what Betty sees, which is an old dilapidated property that requires much work to make it livable. After their first night under a leaky roof, they awake at 4 a.m. to begin their journey of never-ending repairs, including a malevolent wood-burning stove and ornery livestock. After coming back from picking up lumber to build a new chicken coop, Bob and Betty are greeted by their lazy neighbor Pa Kettle, played by Percy Kilbride, who borrows 6 boards, 2 pounds of nails, a hammer, saw, and a can of green paint. Pa greets them to the neighborhood, asking them to stop by for a visit and meet Ma, played by Marjorie Main, and their 15 children. More visitors follow, including natives Geoduck and Crowbar selling fish, flirty Miss Harriet Putnam, played by Louise Albritton, a rich single woman from the new Bella Vista farm, and salesman Smiling Billy Reed. Whatever you need, see Billy Reed. After being greeted by their new dog named Sport, Betty hitches a ride and pays the Kettles a visit. Walking past the sign that says "Beware of the Children," Betty meets the welcoming clan and sees Ma finishing a quilt, stating that she should enter it at the county fair. The prize money could help send their brightest son, Tom, to college. During the county fair dance, Harriet flirts with Bob, Betty wears down her heels, Pa serves moonshine, and Ma wins the quilting contest. However, an announcement is made that Pa's still done blowed up and has caused an out-of-control forest fire. So, does man-hungry Harriet get her man? Does the sun put a shine on the kettle and get to go to college? Or do our hopes and dreams of our newlyweds end up in smoke? Released March 21st, 1947, our story is based on the 1945 novel of the same name by American author Betty McDonald. The book, published October 3rd, 1945, was number 1 on the New York Times nonfiction bestseller list for 43 weeks. With a 79% rating from the film critic Rotten Tomatoes, The Egg and I was a box office success, earning $5.5 million in domestic theatrical rentals. This film earned 2 nominations, a 1948 nominee Oscar for Best Supporting Role for Marjorie Main, and a 1947 nominee Gold Medal for Favorite Picture of the Year. It's one of my favorites. If you enjoy the TV series The Beverly Hillbillies that ran from 1962 to 1971, I know you'll enjoy this film as well. And our trivia question this week: did someone with a credited role pass away before the premiere of this film? Did someone with a credited role pass away before the premiere of this film? So a little more history and the answer to our trivia question coming up next. The Egg and I film introduced the beloved characters of Ma and Pa Kettle to audiences, making Ma and Pa Kettle the subject of this week's history. So Ma and Pa Kettle are comic film characters of the successful film series of the same name, produced by Universal Studios in the late 1940s and 1950s. Originally based on real-life farming neighbors in Washington State, Ma and Pa Kettle were composite characters created by author Betty McDonald, in whose 1945 best-selling semi-fictional memoir, The Egg and I, they appear. After the audience's positive reaction to the Kettles in the film, Universal Studios produced 9 more films, with Marjorie Main reprising a role in all and Percy Kilbride reprising his in 7. The hillbilly duo have their hands full with a ramshackle farm and a brood of rambunctious children. When their future comes a-callin' in the form of modern houses, exotic locales, and newfangled ideas, Ma and Pa Kettle must learn how to make the best of it with luck, pluck, and a little country charm. Among their titles are Ma and Pa Kettle Go to Town in 1950, Ma and Pa Kettle at the Fair in 1952, Ma and Pa Kettle at Home in 1954, and Ma and Pa Kettle at Waikiki in 1955. The Kettle Farm, also known as Gosman Ranch, was a movie ranch in Universal Studios, where most of the Ma and Pa Kettle features were filmed. Prior to the Kettle Farm area being demolished in 1969 to begin construction on the Gibson Amphitheater, it was significantly altered for the filming of Spartacus in 1960. The movie ranch appeared in other films and television series, including The Thing That Couldn't Die in 1958 and The Deputy, a series from 1959 to 1961, and one of my favorite series, Adam 12, from 1968 to 1975. Today the site is the Wizard World of Harry Potter. Among the 15 children living on the farm are the animals: Bossy, the Kettle's red and white milk cow. The chickens are a flock of nearly 100 chickens. The Kettle's prize speckled hen is seen a few times laying eggs on their head or in a bowler hat. An old retired trotting horse named Emma, and a white donkey wearing a straw hat, and many others. Agnes is the Kettle's family blue tick coonhound, often seen wearing a sweater. She produces puppies for the Kettles and their friends for gifts at the Christmas Eve party. The films grossed an estimated $35 million altogether at the box office and said to have saved Universal from bankruptcy. Amazing. And the answer to our trivia question this week: did someone with a credited role pass away before the premiere of this film? Yes. This is the final credited film for actor, writer, and director Victor Patel, who plays Crowbar in our movie. Born in Lafayette, Indiana in 1889, Patel worked for S&A Film Manufacturing Company in Chicago. Patel worked for S&A in most of the Bronco Billy series, as well as playing a character called Slippery Sam in almost 80 movies, as well as Universal Pictures' Snakeville series. He passed away on March 8, 1947, before the film's premiere, after appearing in nearly 450 films going back to 1910. He was so busy in the end that he would be seen in 4 more films stretching into 1948. Amazing. I'd like to give a big thank you to my viewers and subscribers. I added a couple of links down below for 2 more great comedy films. Mr. Blandings Builds His Dream House from 1948, that's Cary Grant. And Please Don't Eat the Daisies from 1960, it's Doris Day. Please click the links, and we'll see you soon.
I'll bet you've never looked as good as this in your whole life.